So explain to me, there's a Hulk Hogan guy. Uh, explain to me, uh, Juggalo Championship Wrestling.
It's just, they want to promote shows and they got to name it something. So, they have these big, they have a festival every year called the Gathering of the Juggalos. And so it would be like a Woodstock type deal with different performers on different stages and
Uh-huh.
other events. Like, they're going to have just sort of Juggalo adjacent stuff. So things with Fago and merch and, blah, blah, blah. And obviously all the concerts, but they're big wrestling fans. So they would run a wrestling show and they used to actually do pretty well with it. And they even did a voiceover where the actual Insane Clown Posse, Violent J and Shaggy Two Dope, they pretended to be wrestling announcers and they redid commentary on the IWA King of the Death match with Mick Foley and Terry Funk. They watched the whole show and they renamed them because, of course, they didn't own the IP, but they were like, yeah, we're just going to show this footage. And of course, technically, that meant they made way more on the shit than the guys in the matches did. Now they shouldn't have been doing it. It was bootleg, but it was Japan versus America. They were like, oh, fuck it. Let them sue us. Let them stop us, whatever. Yeah. So they called them, Cactus Sack and Terry Fuck. But either way, apparently Mick felt a certain type of way about that. Like, hey, these guys are making money off of me. And I fucking literally burned and had, the blood, sweat, and tears associated with this. So when he ran into him in an airport or something, I guess he confronted him like, hey man, cause they were like really excited to meet him cause they're big wrestling fans. And he was like, I don't appreciate blah, blah, blah. And according to Mick, and I don't have all the details, but I believe that they broke him off something real proper like. So they were all good again. So good for them.
Okay. You said broke him off some real proper like?
Yeah, they gave him some cash, Tony.
Gotcha.
Enough cash that he shut the fuck up. And he was like, all right, cool, man. Good to see y'all. Yeah. Thanks for all you did. It went from contentious to, okay, you made it right. Thanks.
Yeah. So, Insane Clown Posse is the duo that came up with this whole Juggalo thing. They're in charge of everything, right?
That's right.
Okay.
Shaggy Two Dope and Violent J. Violent J is a big listener of our podcast.
Well, you know what? He was really a cool guy in WCW.
He's a nice guy.
Yes, he is.
He gets a bad rap, and I understand that, people are critical
I'm sorry. Does he get a bad rap on Twitter? Really? Fuck those people on Twitter.
There you go.
Fuck them. Look at Ken Patera. Gee, many Christmas. The good news about what we're going to watch, and we're going to watch a little bit over an hour stuff, is that no match goes over 6.5 minutes.
Thank God.
Yeah. Ken Patera looks like an aged guy from the Alps getting ready to yodel. Doesn't he?
I love you for that.
Okay. And it breaks my heart. I got to meet Ken. I know he's no longer with us. It breaks my heart because in my fandom as a kid,
right,
Ken Patera was right there, man. He had that USA singlet.
Oh yeah.
He had that big blonde bushy hair.
Oh, the afro.
Yeah, the big blonde bushy afro. Man, he was oh, and I got to meet him and I just gushed like a fucking schoolboy that I got to meet him. And so, it kind of pains me to see this, but there it is. I hope he got some money for this.
Oh, I'm sure he did.
Yeah. And of course, he is well known for destroying the McDonald's.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Who was with him at that time? Was also involved in that.
Saito, I think.
Yeah, Mr. Saito. I don't know. Apparently, they wanted to get something to eat. McDonald's wouldn't give them anything. And well, it's a famous story from back in the day.
Yeah, it was Masa Saito.
Uh-huh.
You know what? I just realized Masa, was boys with Eric Bischoff.
Uh-huh.
And Ken Patera, of course, a Minnesota guy.
Sure.
like Eric Bischoff.
Right.
What a small world all this is. You
Mhm.
know it?
Yep. Yep. As you can tell, Ken can't do much of anything. Um, but just amazing that they found. Now we're talking about 2011. So we're talking about, obviously, you can add 10 years ago. Okay. And Ken Patera's heyday was 70s, late 70s. So think about how long it had been since he was really Ken Patera. And I mean, Ken didn't do a lot of things, but he was really athletic. He was a legit weightlifter in the Olympics. And they had him. I think it's interesting how they just taking a camera shot of the announcers here during the match. But my memories of Ken Patera was Ken Patera and Baron von Raschke together as a tag team in Mid Atlantic Championship Wrestling. It didn't happen for long, but I do remember that. And of course, I'm talking about Ken Patera a lot because it's part of my fandom, but obviously Bob Backlund was a big star too. Isn't it interesting how, I guess when Junior took over the business, that he wanted to, am I right to say he wanted to get rid of Backlund as world champion? Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, Backlund had been champ for quite a while, but he was looking to go more mainstream. He
Right.
wanted less of the down and dirty, traditional classic wrestling. He wanted more glitz,
Right.
more sizzle, less steak. That's what I'm trying to
Sure.
say.
Yeah. And I guess his father thought that Backlund was the quote unquote next Bruno Sammartino.
Well, he was, in terms of, the longevity and all that, but the world had changed. Like, what I think what Vince McMahon, the one that we know,
Mhm.
I think he just understood, hey, there's a shelf life on this, but things are changing. People are evolving. And so he wanted to up the production and the and the glitz and the glamour and make it feel more like a comic book
Mhm.
and less like whatever we're watching now. Hey, it's Conrad Thompson here to tell you a little more about what adfreeshows.com is all about. Get early, ad-free access to more than a dozen of your favorite wrestling podcasts every single week, starting at just $9. That's less than 20 cents an episode each month. And yes, you can listen to them all directly through Apple Podcasts or your regular podcast apps. How easy is that? Ad-free shows also has thousands of hours worth of bonus content and docuseries like Title Chase, Eric Fires Back, Conversations with Conrad, and The Insiders. Plus new series like The Book with David Crockett, Monday Mailbags with Mike Chioda and Nick Patrick, and a whole lot more. And you want to talk about early? You can't get any earlier than listening to the shows live. You can be a part of the live studio audience as we record the podcast. Plus, ride shotgun alongside your favorite childhood heroes for live watch-alongs, Q&As, and other interactive experiences every single month. Come on now, see for yourself what thousands of other wrestling fans from around the world have discovered, that adfreeshows.com is the best value in wrestling. Check it out today, and hey, when you do, the first week is completely free. adfreeshows.com.